we get to start chapter 2 now. So I took a little break in between because I usually, when I read a book, I write things down, and I wrote a whole bunch of stuff down. Number one, I want to go over the fact that Kennedy was surprised that Mitch knew that he was being followed. Also, I want to go over. There were 6. She said that there were 6 recruits already at that place. What do we want to call it? Hurley's Farm? Hurley's Farm. But my question is, have they already been through all the training? Or are they like Mitch and they forewent the training? Because that's, I feel like, important. If it isn't, then what do I know then? But I feel like that'll come into play. I feel like Mitch is going to probably get some trouble from the other 6 guys there. Actually, what if one of them's a girl? Oh, God. There's probably going to be a girl, isn't there? There's probably going to be a girl. Also, I want to point out that Mitch wants to plot revenge against the Faceless guys who wanted to take down Pan Am Flight 103. Pan Am Flight 103. And just right before that, he mentioned how he lost the love of his life. Did he lose the love of his life in that flight? Did that flight get taken down? That would be so messed up. Oh my gosh. If that's what happened, oh my goodness gracious. Anyway, so chapter 2. Also, before, I'm sorry, but before I forget, this camera right here, it has a ring light around it, and I can't, for the life of me, figure out how to get that ring light to pew and light up my face, because I need it. I don't know how to do it. I'll try again to figure it out after this, but I want to read this now. So here we go. Chapter 2. Oh, there's no little thing underneath it. I mean, I guess there wouldn't be. We are still in Western Virginia. Chapter 2. Wrapped. Starting off strong, Emily. I swear to you, I can read. The problem is, my brain, okay, reads books really fast. And my mouth cannot keep up. Cannot keep up. I read The Maze Runner in less than 48 hours my first time reading it. I was so into that book. Like, I was just reading, eat, bathroom, reading, bathroom, eat, reading, eating, sleeping, bathroom. Yeah, so I read faster than my mouth can say the words, so that's why I mess up. Don't believe me? Well, that's your problem. Okay, going. Rap looked through the plugs. I can't. Plug. The bug-splattered windshield at the ball-buster he'd been warned about. Even from across the yard, he could see the displeased look on the guy's face. He had medium-length brown hair swept to the right and a full Tom Selleck mustache. That's amazing. I'm sorry. He was in a pair of faded olive shorts that were a little on the small side and a white V-neck t-shirt. As the car came to a stop, Rapp noted the faded black combat boots and a white tube socks that were pulled all the way up to his knees. I like Early. His skin was a leathery... You guys try to say the word leathery, okay? Leathery, dark brown, and all of it, even his cheeks, seemed tightly wound with muscles and tendons. Rapp wondered about the eyes that were conveniently concealed behind a pair of sunglasses. He thought about his plan, and he figured he'd find out soon enough. How old is he? Rapp asked. Not sure, Kennedy said as she put the car in park. He's older than he looks, though. But I wouldn't bring it up. He doesn't like talking about his age. She unbuckled her seatbelt. Wait here for a moment. I like her. I like Kennedy and I like Stan. Kennedy, I guess, isn't sticking around, but that's fine. Kennedy exited the vehicle and walked casually across the gravel driveway. She was wearing black dress slacks and a white blouse. Due to the heat and the fact that they were more than 100 miles from headquarters, she left her suit jacket in the back seat. A 9mm Beretta pistol was on her right hip. More to avoid a tongue lashing from the man she was about to face than from any real fear that she'd have to use it. She looked up at the man on the porch and brushed a loose strand of her auburn hair behind her ear. Stopping at the base of the porch steps, she said, Uncle Stan! No, Uncle Stan, you don't look too excited to see me. I love that. Sorry, I got way too hyped for a second. Stan Hurley glanced down at Kennedy and felt a twinge of guilt. This little beauty could jerk his emotion around in ways very few could. He'd known Irene longer than she'd known herself. He'd watched her grow up, bought her Christmas presents from strange exotic places, and spent more holidays with the Kennedys than without them. And then, a little less than a decade ago, all the joy had drained from their lives when a delivery van packed with over 2,000 pounds of explosives pulled up to the U.S. Embassy in Beirut. 63 people perished, including Kennedy's father. Ooh. Hurley had been away screwing one of his sources and had narrowly dodged a bullet. Is that implying what Okay. The CIA had lost 8 valuable people that April day, and they had been playing catch-up ever since. Hurley was well aware that he had almost no control over his temper, so it was his habit to keep things brief when he was upset, and talking with someone he liked. He said simply, "Afternoon, Irene." So he's upset right now. Kennedy had been expecting and dreading this moment for some months. Normally, Hurley would have greeted her with a warm hug and asked her how her mother was. But not this afternoon. She'd done an end around on him. And Stan Hurley did not like people going over his head for approval on something this serious. The chill in his mood was obvious, but still she pressed on, asking, "How are you feeling?" Hurley ignored her question and pointedly asked, "Who's in the car?" "New recruit. Thomas told me he filled you in." Kennedy was referring to their boss. Hurley's eyes were shielded by the polarized lenses of his aviators. His head slowly swiveled away from the car towards Kennedy. "Yes, he told me what you were up to," he said with obvious disapproval. Kennedy defensively folded her arms across her chest and said, "You don't endorse my decision?" "Absolutely not." "Why?" "I don't run a damn Boy Scout camp." "Never said you did, Stan," Kennedy said in a biting tone. "Then why the hell are you wasting my time sending me some titty boy college puke who doesn't know the difference between a gun and a rifle?" I love Stan already. The normally stoic Kennedy allowed a bit of irritation to show. She was well aware of the special hold she had over Hurley, and a look of disapproval on her part was far more potent than a direct attack. Hurley looked down at her and could see she was unhappy with him. He didn't like that one bit. It was the same with his own daughters. If one of his boys had so much as looked at him sideways, he would have knocked him on his ass. but the girls had the ability to get past all his defenses, get inside him and create doubt. Still, on this issue, he knew he was right, so he held his ground. Don't make this personal, Irene. I've been at this a long time, and I know what I'm doing. I don't need you going over my head and then coming down here and dumping some untested rookie in my lap. Kennedy stood sphinx-like, refusing to yield her position. Hurley took a drag from his cigarette and said, I think you should save us all the headache and get back in your car and take him back to wherever you found him. I don't think Mitch would like that. Kennedy was surprised by the genuine resentment she felt. She'd been working on this for more than a year. Her analysis and her instincts told her Rapp was just the man they were looking for. Yet here she was, being dismissed like some complete neophyte? That's a word I've never seen. I swear, neophyte. Who had no understanding of what they were trying to accomplish. Kennedy slowly climbed the porch steps and squared off with Hurley. The veteran backed up a bit, obviously uncomfortable with someone whom he wouldn't dare lay a hand on entering his personal space. I got a lot of work to take care of this afternoon, Irene, so the sooner you get back in the car, the better off we'll all be. Kennedy squared her shoulders and in a tight voice asked, Uncle Stan, I have never disrespected you. Wait. Uncle Stan, have I ever disrespected you? That's not what this is. It's not. It's exactly what it's about. What have I done to you that has caused you to hold me in such a low regard? She inched closer. Hurley's feet began to shuffle. His face twisted into a scowl. You know I think the world of you. Then why do you treat me as if I'm still a teenager? I don't think you're incompetent. You just think I should stick to analysis and leave the recruiting and training to you. He cleared his throat and said, I think that's a fair statement. Kennedy put her hands on her hips and stuck out her chin. Do me a favor and take off your sunglasses. The request caught Hurley off guard. Why? Because I know you're Achilles' heel, and I want to see your womanizing eyes when I tell you what someone should have told you a long time ago. Oh no. What? What's going on? Hurley cracked a smile in an attempt to brush her off, but she told him again to take his glasses off. Hurley reluctantly did so. I respect you, Kennedy said. In fact, I might trust you more with my life than anyone in this world. You are unquestionably the best man to whip those operatives into shape. But there's one problem. What's that? You're myopic. I don't know if I'm saying that word right. What does that mean? Hold the phone. I need to know what this word means. Myopic. Oh, near side. Okay, got it. Sorry, I'm sorry. I'll look up neophyte too later, but that's not as pressing. Where was I? You're myopic. Really? Yep. I'm not sure you really understand the type of person we're looking for. She's like... Hurley scoffed as if the idea was preposterous. That's right, and you're too stubborn to see it. I suppose you think the Special Operations Group just showed up one day? Why do you who do you think trained all those guys? Who do you think selected them? Who do you think turned them into the efficient, badass killing machines that they are? You did, and you know that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about our third objective. How many objectives do you have? Hurley frowned. She knew right where to hit him. He quietly wondered if Stansfield had put her up to this and said, You think this shit's easy? You want to take over running this little operation? No. Don't envy you in the slightest. Kennedy shook her head and smiled in amazement. You know, for a tough guy, you're awfully thin-skinned. You sound like one of those damn desk jockeys back at Langley who run their section as if they were some third world dictator. It's way funnier. She might as well hit him in the gut with a 2x4. Hurley stood there speechless. You've created a cult of personality, Kennedy continued. Every single recruit is you 20 to 30 years ago. And what's wrong with that? Nothing, if you're talking about our first two objectives. Kennedy held up one finger. Training operatives with the skills to get down and dirty if they have to, and, she held up a second finger, creating a highly mobile tactical assault team. But when it comes to the third, she shook her head, we're still at the starting gate. What's the third objective? Hurley didn't like hearing this, but he was not some unaware idiot. He knew what he'd been tasked to do, and he was acutely aware that he had so far failed to make any progress on the most delicate of the three programs. Still, it wasn't in him to cede the point so easily. I can teach anyone how to kill. That's easy. You point the weapon, you pull the trigger, and assuming you can aim, bam, a piece of lead enters the target's body, hits a vital organ, and it's done. If you've got big enough balls, I can teach you to slide a knife through a guy's armpit and pop his heart like a balloon. Okay, I don't say this word. I'm going to say frick instead, and you'll understand what I mean. Frick, I can show you 1,000 ways to punch someone's ticket. I can teach you battlefield techniques until I'm blue in the face. But, Kennedy asked, prodding him in direction she knew he was headed. Turning a man into what we're looking for. Hurley stopped and shook his head. It just ain't that easy. Kennedy sighed. This was the opening she was looking for. Touching Hurley's arm, she said, I'm not saying it is, which is why you have to start trusting the rest of us to do our jobs. I have brought you a gift, Stan. You don't realize it now because you think a guy has to go through boot camp before he's ready to have a run at your selection process. And normally I would agree with you, but this is different. We're just going to have to let go of some of your control issues for a bit. What I have in that car is exactly what we've been looking for, Stan. No bad habits that'll take you months to undo. None of that stiff military discipline that makes all these guys stand out like a sore thumb when we dump them into an urban setting. Hurley glanced at the car. He's off the charts on all our tests, Kennedy added, and he's yours for the shaping. With a deep frown, Hurley studied what little he could see of this raw lump of coal that Kennedy was about to dump in his lap. That is, Kennedy said, if you can swallow your pride and admit that the little girl you used to bounce on your knees all grown up and just might be better at spotting talent than you. Checkmate. Checkmate, Hurley thought to himself. I'm stuck with this puke, at least for a few days until I can figure out how to make him quit. Fine, he said with a defeated tone. But no special favors. He pulls his weight just like everyone else or he's gone. I don't expect any favors, but, Kennedy said, pointing a finger at his face, I'm going to be very upset if I find out you singled him out and gave him some of your famous extra love and attention. I can imagine that Hurley's extra love and attention is extra punches to the face. Hurley digested her words and then gave her a curt nod. Fine, I'll do it your way, but trust me, if I so much as get a whiff of weakness. I know, she said, robbing him of the final word. You'll make him wish he'd never met you. Kennedy had pushed it as far as she was willing for the moment. Rapp would simply have to show the crotchety old bastard what she already knew. I have to head over to the farm to take care of something. I'll be back for dinner. She turned to head back to the car, and over her shoulder she yelled, And he'd better look no worse for the wear than the other 6, or you're going to have one very unhappy niece on your hands. Oh, goodness gracious, that's great. I knew I'd love Hurley. Just Perfect. So there was one sentence in here that I didn't quite understand. Let me see if I can find it. Moment for months. She'd done an end around on him. What does that mean? She'd done an end around on him? What does that mean? Also, there are certain words that I am fine with saying, but I will not drop the F-bomb. Even if it's just reading a book, I will read it, that's fine, but saying it out loud, no. So, if any time there's saying the F-bomb anywhere in this book, I will say freaking. So, sorry if that upsets anybody, but time to get on to the next chapter. I'm gonna have to look up what this sentence even means. She had done an end around on him. But yeah, I will read the next chapter. Bye.